Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something almost every English learner runs into. Vocabulary. You study the lists, you feel like you've got it, and then poof.
Yeah.
When you actually need the word in conversation, it's just gone. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, absolutely. It's that gap, isn't it, between knowing a word passively, like recognizing it, and actually being able to use it
Right.
when you're speaking.
Exactly. And it can be really discouraging, even when you know you've put the work in.
Totally. Feels like wasted effort sometimes.
Yeah.
But look, today isn't just about nodding along. We've dug into what actually works, what language experts and, really fluent speakers do differently. We found 4 really powerful techniques. Forget the boring word list. This is about learning and remembering vocabulary faster so you can actually use it.
It's about making those words active, ready to go when you need them, building those mental connections.
That's our mission today. Get those words out of your head and into your conversations.
Precisely. Making them accessible, effortless. Okay, let's dive in. Technique number 1, and this might feel a little counterintuitive at first, is stop learning single words. Start learning phrases.
This is such a big one. Think about it. A single word learned in isolation is just kind of floating there in your mind, right?
And no connections.
Exactly. It lacks context. It's almost like trying to remember just one digit of a phone number versus the whole thing.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Like the word fast. Okay, definition. Moves quickly. Fine.
Right.
But when do you use just fast? Now think about learning as fast as possible.
Instantly useful.
Totally. Get back to me as fast as possible. Finish this as fast as possible. You have a whole ready-made chunk you know how to use fast.
Yes. The phrase shows you the grammar, how it fits with other words. It's the word in action. Take help. You memorize the definition.
To assist someone. Okay.
But you might still freeze up when you actually need to ask for it. But if you learn, can you help me with this? Or maybe I need some help with.
Ah, great. Like, I need some help with this report.
Exactly. Those are immediately usable. They're conversational building blocks.
And, okay, here's a pro tip on top of that. Don't just learn one phrase for a word. Aim for several.
Absolutely. See the word in different contexts.
Like excited. Don't just know excited means enthusiastic. Learn. I'm excited about the trip.
Or she was excited to meet her new friends.
The kids were really excited to go to the zoo. Each one shows it slightly differently, right? Different grammar, different situations.
And what's happening in your brain there is really interesting. It's called chunking. Your brain starts seeing these common pairings, these phrases, as single units.
Ah, okay. So it's faster to recall.
Much faster, much more efficient. You're not piecing it together word by word. You're grabbing the whole chunk. It leads to stronger memory and, honestly, more natural-sounding speech.
Okay, so the takeaway is super clear then. Ditch the single word lists.
Pretty much, yeah.
When you study, always write down the full phrase or sentence. If your word is important, don't just write important significant, right? It's important beyond time. Or maybe, my family is really important to me. See it in its natural environment.
Exactly. You're training your brain to see it as part of a functional unit. That's how native speakers learn, through context.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Let's move to technique number 2. This one's about making it personal. Connect new words to your experiences.
Yes. Our brains are wired to remember things that have personal meaning or, an emotional tag attached.
Stuff that matters to us.
Precisely. When you link a new word to something real in your life, you create a much stronger memory hook. It stops being abstract data.
Let's try a quick example. Say you're learning delicious.
Okay.
Definition. Tastes really good. Fine. But now, think about, the best pizza you ever had. Really picture it.
I can almost taste it.
Right. No, say out loud, that pizza was absolutely delicious, or I had a delicious burger yesterday. You're linking delicious to that actual positive memory.
The taste, the smell, maybe who you were with, it all becomes an anchor for the word. It's not just the definition anymore. It's anchored in your personal experience.
And it works for emotions too, right? Not just tastes.
Oh, definitely. Take a word like nervous.
Right.
Instead of just the definition, think about a time you genuinely felt nervous. Maybe before a job interview.
Yeah.
Or a test.
Yeah, okay, got one.
Now, actually say it, connecting to that feeling. I was really nervous before my job interview. You're tying the word directly to that physical, emotional state you experience.
Makes it way more memorable. The feeling itself jogs the memory of the word.
Exactly. And this is why words related to your actual daily life, your hobbies, your work, your feelings, they're always going to be easier to remember. They already have pathways in your brain.
So here's a mini challenge for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think of 3 new words you've learned recently, maybe even from this chat.
Mm-hmm.
For each one, create a sentence linking it to your life. Something real you did, felt, saw. Just a simple connection. Give it a try. I bet those words will stick much better.
That active step is crucial. You're forcing your brain to process the word deeply in relation to yourself. That really solidifies it.
All right, technique number 3. This one is about speed. Use the new word immediately.
Sounds obvious maybe, but it's so often missed. You learn a word, you understand it, maybe you even write it down, and then...
You put the notebook away.
Exactly, and then the word just fades. It doesn't become part of your active, usable vocabulary. It's like cramming for a test. You might know it for a moment, but if you don't use it again soon...
Gone. I like the analogy of learning a dance move.
Oh, yeah.
You watch the video, you get the steps in your head, but if you don't actually stand up and try the move right then...
You won't remember it later. Same
Yeah.
with words. That immediate use locks it in.
Take a simple word like amazing, definition,
Yeah.
surprising, wonderful.
Okay.
But if you don't use it soon,
It stays passive. But if you learn amazing, and then later today you see a beautiful sunset and you consciously think or say, wow, that's amazing.
boom, you've just reinforced it.
Ex-
Let's try it right now, everyone. Think of one new English word you encountered lately. Just one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right now, say it out loud in a sentence. Or if you can't speak loud, just whisper it. Make a sentence with it.
That physical act of producing the word, building a sentence, it fires up the neural pathways for that word and moves it from I recognize this to I can actually use this.
Another great way to do this consistently is using a journal.
Oh, yeah, that's effective.
Make it a daily habit. Write just one sentence using a new word you learned that day. If your word was motivated, you could write, I feel really motivated to practice my English speaking today.
That structured practice is great, and writing engages different brain areas than just hearing or reading, reinforcing it further.
Or if writing's not your thing, just talk to yourself.
Seriously, it works.
When you make coffee, use a new adjective. This coffee smells aromatic. When you see something interesting outside, that building looks quite modern.
The more you consciously try to sprinkle these new words into your day, even just in your thoughts or talking to yourself, the more natural they become.
It's that constant active use
Yeah.
that turns a foreign word into your word. Makes it comfortable.
That practical application really cements the learning.
Okay, on to our 4th technique. This builds on something we all do, reading and listening, but with a twist. Read and listen more, but do it actively.
Right. Just having English on in the background, like watching movies or listening to music, it's good for general exposure, definitely.
Yeah, you get the feel of the language.
But it's often passive. You might understand the gist, the main idea, but you're not necessarily zooming in on new words or how they're used.
Totally. You ever watch a whole season of a show, understand everything, but afterwards, you can't name a single new phrase you picked up?
All the time. That's passive consumption. Enjoyable, good for immersion, but not focused vocabulary building.
So active engagement is the key. What does that look like?
It means consciously paying attention. When you hear a word or phrase in a show that's new or interesting, hit pause.
Actually pause it.
Yes. Repeat the word. Try to guess the meaning from the context. Maybe quickly jot it down. And then, the crucial step, try to make your own sentence using it.
Ah, okay. That processing makes a difference.
Huge difference. Same with reading. You see a new word in an article, don't just skip over it.
Look it up.
Look it up, yes, understand it. But then also write it down, maybe in a notebook, with the original sentence you found it in.
Oh, the context again.
Always the context.
Yeah.
It shows you how the word is actually used naturally. That's gold.
Here's a fun challenge then. Next time you watch your favorite show, listen for just one phrase that sounds natural and useful.
Okay.
Maybe someone says, that sounds great. Make it your mission to use that exact phrase later that day in a real conversation.
Love that. Or if you read, say, he was exhausted after work. Don't just read it. Say it aloud. He was exhausted. Then make your own. I was exhausted after my workout today.
You're using multiple senses, making more connections.
Exactly. So the big shift is from being a passive sponge to being an active, focused learner, hunting for new words, engaging with them.
Turning that reading and listening time into real vocabulary building time. Being intentional.
That's the core of it, intentionality.
Okay, fantastic. Now, before we hit today's challenge, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about how native speakers actually use vocabulary.
Ah, yes. Because it's not just about having a huge word list in your head.
Right. It's knowing which word to use when. Context and appropriateness are huge.
Absolutely crucial. Learners often focus so much on just adding more words, sometimes really formal ones.
Like textbook words.
Exactly. But then they might struggle with everyday conversation or knowing when to be formal versus informal.
So native speakers naturally switch their language depending on the situation, who they're talking to.
It's called register. The language you use with your best friend is different from how you talk to your boss.
Totally different.
Understanding this spectrum, from super casual to very formal, is key to sounding natural and, frankly, communicating effectively.
Let's try a scenario. You need to tell your boss you're really tired. What sounds better? Option A. I'm exhausted. I barely slept last night.
Okay.
Option B. Dude, I'm dead tired. Stayed up all night watching movies.
Chuckles. Okay, pretty clear cut. Option A, right. Professional, gets the point across.
Option B. Maybe for a friend.
Definitely for a friend or someone you're very casual with. Way too informal for most bosses.
Okay, another one. You need help with something at work. Ask. Could you assist me with this? Or, hey, can you give me a hand?
Well, could you assist me is more formal. Good for maybe an email or someone higher up.
You can give me a hand.
Much more casual.
Yeah.
Fine for a friendly colleague you work with often.
So the takeaway is, when you learn new words, also try to get a feel for how formal or informal they are.
Yes. Pay attention to where you hear them used. This helps you choose the right word for the right moment so you sound more natural.
Because using super formal language in a casual chat can sound.
Stiff. Awkward. Maybe a bit pretentious.
Yeah. And using slang in a formal meeting.
Can sound unprofessional or disrespectful. It's about matching the language to the situation.
Okay. Another related point. Sometimes learners use phrases that are grammatically perfect, but just. Not what native speakers usually say.
The textbook English versus real English gap.
Exactly. Textbooks teach correct structures, but not always the most common or natural ways people actually talk.
Yeah, there are definitely phrases that sound a bit stiff or overly elaborate compared to everyday speech.
Let's play a quick game. I'll give a textbook-ish sentence. You give the natural alternative.
Okay, sounds fun. Let's do it.
First one, I did not understand what you said. Could you repeat that?
Much more common would be, sorry, what was that? Or, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Shorter, more direct.
Perfect. Okay, next. This food is very delicious.
While delicious is fine, we often amp it up or simplify. More likely, this is amazing, or this tastes great, or even just, this is so good.
All right, less formal. Last one. I am feeling very tired today.
Again, perfectly correct, but a native speaker would probably just say, I'm exhausted, or I'm so tired today. More common, direct phrasing.
So the lesson here is often simpler is better, more natural.
Often, yes. In everyday chat, we tend towards simpler, more common expressions. Don't feel you have to use complex sentences all the time. Listen to how people really talk: movies, podcasts, conversations.
Pick up those common natural phrases. Develop an ear for it, as you said.
Exactly. Noticing those subtle differences is key.
Okay, one last quick thing on native speaker habits. Filler words.
The ums and uhs.
And, learners sometimes try to avoid them, but native speakers use them all the time. Why?
They actually serve a purpose. They make speech sound more natural, less robotic. They give you a tiny pause to think, to organize your thoughts. They smooth out the conversation flow.
So if I ask, how was the movie? Instead of just good, a native speaker might say.
Something like, oh, it was really good. I mean, the ending was kind of surprising, you know? The fillers make it sound more spontaneous, less rehearsed.
So, often comes when thinking.
Right, at the start of an answer. Can be like checking if the listener is following.
Or agreeing implicitly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is often used to clarify or explain something further.
Should learners actively try to use these?
I'd say don't overdo it because too many can make you sound hesitant. But yes, paying attention to how native speakers use them and maybe sprinkling them in appropriately can definitely make your English sound more natural and relaxed.
So notice them first, then maybe experiment a little.
Exactly. It's another layer of sounding fluent.
Okay, brilliant. Lots of practical stuff there. Now it's time for action, your day 2 challenge.
Yes. Listening is step 1. Doing is where the magic happens.
Absolutely. This challenge is designed to get you using these techniques right away.
Let's make this vocabulary stick.
Okay, here it is. Step 1. Pick 3. 3 new words or phrases from everything we talked about today.
Could be a specific word like exhausted, a natural phrase like I didn't catch that, or even a filler like, Anything that resonated.
Step 2. Connect each one to you. Make a personal link. A memory, a sentence about your life right now, a phrase you can genuinely see yourself using.
So maybe, I was exhausted after my final exam, or I'm excited about my trip next week, or even just planning to use, that sounds great, next time you agree with someone.
Make it personal. Step 3, and this is the most important, use them. Today.
Yes, say them out loud. Write them in a journal or a message. Find a real reason to use them in communication.
And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below this deep dive. Tell us your 3 words phrases, the personal sentence you made for each, and one way you plan to use one of them today.
Sharing reinforces it. And for the super keen learners, the advanced challenge. Try to use each of your 3 chosen words phrases at least 3 times today.
Ooh, nice. In different situations if possible.
Ideally, yes. The more context you use it in, the more flexible your understanding becomes.
Awesome. Okay, quick recap of the 4 big techniques. 1, learn phrases, not single words.
2, connect new words to your personal experiences. Make them meaningful.
3, use new words immediately. Don't let them fade.
And 4, read and listen actively, not passively. Hunt for vocabulary.
And remember that sounding natural also involves understanding formality, using common expressions, and even those little filler words.
It's about real spoken English.
Okay, get ready because our next deep dive is going to tackle another big one.
Huh?
Understanding fast English speakers.
Ooh, that's a common challenge.
We'll explore why people speak fast, how to catch the important words, and how to train your ears for those real-life rapid conversations.
Definitely essential skills, so make sure you're subscribed or following the deep dive so you don't miss day 3.
Absolutely. Remember, learning the words is just the start.
Using them is what makes them truly yours. Start practicing today.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now, and happy learning.